Hi, welcome to episode number 8 of What's Up Westchester. I'm Kim Arenas with the Kim Arenas team. And yes, this is Marlene Gold. Can't wait to introduce you to our stager extraordinaire.
Thank you.
Marlene Gold of Gold Staging and Redesign. And Marlene, we have worked together, I would say now, I've been in real estate for 10 years, and I would say probably almost the whole 10 years.
Yes.
Probably from the beginning. And Marlene and I actually knew each other before our real estate and staging days. But it is such a pleasure to work with her, and people have called Marlene the magic maker, and I would say that's accurate. Marlene can come into a house and transform the house.
You're embarrassing me, but
you know it is true, and you can see that from all the wonderful feedback that we get. And we're going to dive right in. But again, if you're just joining us, this is episode number 8 of What's Up Westchester, and today we have Marlene Gold on our show, and we're going to be answering your staging questions. So, Marlene, I think one of our first questions that we got was, how long does the staging process take, and how involved do I as a seller need to be?
Well, staging's come a long way, and it's very different from what it used to be. It's no longer just decluttering, changing a wall color, removing the family photos. The process is really dependent upon the type of house or project. The seller can be as involved, I as a stager, my team can do as much or as little as needed.
Yes.
So it really depends, it's a case-by-case situation. But what makes staging different today is everything's online. So the MLS listing is like, it's almost like Match.com for real estate. And your buyer is taking your house on a date. And they're looking online, they're looking at those photos, and that's the first impression.
Deciding which houses they want to see, right?
So it's critical that your house present a certain way, and staging just ensures that it will grab the attention that you need to sell your house for a shorter amount of time and for more money.
Absolutely. And someone said, how long does the process take? And Marlene and I, we've staged a house in less than a week, and we've worked on a house for 3 months.
It also depends on the seller's commitment,
Right.
the homeowner's commitment.
Yeah.
So we can get in there, we can do a consultation, give the seller the list of what they need to do. Our job is to give them to make sure there's nothing on that buyer's to-do list. Because if a buyer walks into a property and starts thinking, I need to do this, I need to do that, they start moving down what they're willing to pay for the house.
And also
right
feeling
away.
overwhelmed, right?
Correct.
And when there's so many things they need to do, then they're like, oh, maybe this is not right for us.
But Kim has a team of resources. I have a team of resources that can get in and get the job done fast. More time is better, though.
More time is better. Although
less
sometimes this
stress on
can
the
take a
seller.
life on,
Right.
sometimes the process can take a life of its own. But I would like to say, here at the Kim Arenas team, we do offer a complimentary staging consultation. So for every listing that we take on, one of the first things we do is we have Marlene come in. She walks through the house, and this is up to the seller. I mean, I think we've only had 1 or 2 people ever say, I'm really not interested, I don't want to do that. And that, of course, I don't want to scare anyone off. If that's the way a seller feels, then we work within the way the seller wants to work, of course. But ideally, Marlene comes in.
And we're not the big, bad, scary stagers. We're very kind. We understand that the way you've chosen to live in your house suited the needs of your family and you. But selling is a very different ballgame, because the way you list a house and the way you live in a house are very different. We need to get the buyer excited about your property, and if there's a lot of you in the house, they're seeing you and they can't envision themselves there.
Yeah, and they want to see themselves there. They want to picture their family.
So this
there.
is not a judgment on how you've decided to decorate. This is not a judgment on how you've decided to use a room. It's really about helping you sell the property and get top dollar for it.
Absolutely. And wouldn't you say, Marlene, sometimes, we have to take we have to kind of undecorate. I mean, sometimes Marlene has to go in and say, you know, it's so beautifully decorated. We need to take away a little bit so people can see the actual house because we're selling the house.
Right. We
Right.
very often will have to dumb it down, and people will say to me, "Oh, why do I need to stage my house? I have this fantastic decorator, and it does look beautiful, but you have to keep in mind that you don't want to scare off that buyer for them to think that, oh, I can't live in this house because it's not going to be as beautiful as the way this seller has designed
Presented it right.
So-
Absolutely. And also we have to appeal to a broad audience. So what may be beautiful to one person. I mean, I remember when I was selling my own house, I had these beautiful silk window treatments.
And Kim probably would have yelled at me and said, "No, I'm not taking
And
them
I
down."
did
for them.
say that in the beginning. I'm like, I don't want to take these down. And finally a friend said, "Boop, you're taking them down. They need to come down. People need to see the house. They need to see your beautiful windows." So that kind of leads into the next question. A dear friend of mine said, rug or no rugs?
Again,
Depends,
that
right?
really depends. Very often, a lot of our clients, especially in the more affluent communities, have these very expensive, beautiful Persian rugs. But they're not neutral. They distract from the room and the architecture
Or
and
the
everything
beautiful
else, everything
wood
else
floors.
in the house.
You know, it depends,
So,
right?
They're removed, and we put in something very neutral like a sisal rug. The key to staging is making the house and the property a star. So we don't use, we don't use a lot of statement-making
Color
pieces.
or-
There's splashes of color because it is, you want your house to have a certain design element. You don't want it to look just staged, and you can't just put anything in there. But again, it's area by area. You have to take into consideration who's buying your house, how are they going to live there, what is the price point. It's not a formula.
Yeah, and I think what Marlene's trying to say is every house is different, and every case is different, and every seller is willing, to basically their threshold. I mean, it depends on timing, it depends on their motivation level, it also depends on if they really want to get top dollar.
And it's very hard for most sellers to emotionally detach from the process. It's really not about them anymore. It's about the house as a product and making this product appeal to the largest number of people.
Yeah. So someone said, they're pointing out to us over here, a question's coming in, it says, if a house doesn't sell, can you stage afterward? And I think what they're asking is if it doesn't sell in the beginning, then can Marlene come in?
Yeah, well, of course, you can stage it at any time, but that's generally a big mistake because the price has been set, the house has been on the market, and then you really have to put a different product out there. And then people will often say, well, the house looks so fantastic, and I've invested X amount of money in the property, why can't we list it for higher? But you can't because you've already been on the market.
Well, we call it a debut. I mean, here at the Kim Arenas team, we really, really focus on, we're debuting a property. We build the momentum going up to the listing. We're doing pre-marketing. We're talking about the house. And the day it comes to market, it's like the debut. You want it then to show it its very best. And best foot forward, right?
Correct.
First impression.
Every single time that we've done that, every single seller has said, I don't know why we didn't do this in the first place.
Right. So you don't want to look back. If you're open to staging and you want to get the most you can absolutely get for your house, it is definitely best to stage it and get it ready up front.
And we don't make, our recommendations at Gold Staging and Redesign is we don't make recommendations that are not going to give you a return on your investment.
Right.
We're very conservative. We will tell you this would be great to do, but this is what you absolutely need to do to secure the interests of the buyer. The staging process is also a partnership with your realtor because the realtors know who's looking for what. They know what kind of feedback is in the market and the property, and stagers need to work with that realtor so that they're giving the buyer what they're looking for.
And it depends on price point, what the price point is.
Correct.
But actually, statistics show, someone said, how does staging affect my sell price, or my list price versus my sell price? And staging shows the statistics, Marlene, it's 17%, right?
17% or even higher, and your house will sell faster. It's all about competition. Nobody wants to do any work anymore. People are nervous. Sometimes if it's a first home buyer, they're putting all their money into the house and they're afraid to do anything. So you need to give them a move-in ready product.
As much as you can. I mean, did you guys see, like, if you're watching us right now, and let me just back up and say, because people join in the middle of our show. If you're joining us now, this is What's Up Westchester. We're at episode number 8. This is Marlene Gold with Gold Staging and Redesign.
And the fabulous Kim Arenas.
And as we call her, she's our magic maker. And we're talking about staging. And if you had a chance to see our before and after picture, one before and after picture in our promo pieces, it was a kitchen. I mean, Marlene, what you did in that space, it looked like a new kitchen, completely a new kitchen, right?
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of focus on kitchens and baths,
Yeah.
the rooms that would cost the most money to redo.
Right.
And here in Westchester and in Lower Connecticut, you have buyers that they really don't have a vision. But we do have that vision. Right. So in several cases, we've gone into homes, we've painted the kitchen cabinets, changed the hardware, changed the appliances to stainless steel front ovens or dishwashers. Dishwashers are $500 or $600, and the presentation of the kitchen is entirely different. It's new. Will change light fixtures, hardware. There are a lot of cosmetic fixes that sellers can take on with our recommendations that completely change the
whole look,
the look of the property.
The look that the buyers are looking for. And
Something
that's what I think, Marlene, you're so
streamlined.
great at. I mean, you really have been doing this long enough that you have your finger on the pulse of what the buyers are looking for. And you guys, like an example, here's an example. Let's use, we had clients last year. They were the ideal clients. We were talking about them before the show. They listed their home at $1,325,000. And they did everything Marlene suggested. They repainted the kitchen cabinets. They repainted the exterior of the house.
They changed light fixtures. They moved out a lot of furniture. They rented furniture. They took down ceiling fans. I mean, staging is much more than bringing in
rental furniture
or changing a paint color. Here's a good example. You might have central air in your home, and one of the bedrooms on the second floor might be warm, so you decided to put in a window unit, or you have fans everywhere. So we might say you need to remove that window unit because the buyers aren't going to read the listing sheet. They're going to react to what they see, and if they see an air conditioning unit, it doesn't matter that you get warm quickly. They're going to think no central air.
And I mean, obviously they know before they purchase, and
Correct.
we as buyers, they just have to point that out. But it's all about first impressions.
Exactly.
It's all about first impressions. And I think they're giving us the 10-minute time. We've been on 10 minutes.
Oh my
gosh. This is such a great topic that, if we need to go a little over today, I think we can go a little over. But I wanted to just tell you, so that house was listed at $1,325,000. That we were just talking about, and I think they put in, it wasn't more than $80,000. Now that's a big number. Most people don't spend that much on staging. However, in this case,
it was nearly.
Was it not? Okay.
No, not nearly.
Well, they sold for $1,427,000. So even if they did put that much into it, they completely got that money back, and that's a big number. I mean, I would say some people stage for as little as $4,000, and some people stage up to, numbers like what we just were talking about.
It really depends. I've had clients who've put $30,000 into a house, and they've yielded 4 or 5 times the return on their investment.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a huge, huge difference. The other thing that people lose sight of with staging is the exterior of their property.
Oh, yes.
So very often you'll go up to a property and you'll see mature bushes. They'll hide the windows, they'll block light from going into a certain room.
Yes.
But what happens is that buyer will make the assumption that the interior is as mature or dated, that they're going to have to do a lot of work. Correct. So they'll open the door and they're going to go on a witch hunt. Now, it might be true that the interior is dated, but you don't need to advertise that. Or you might have renovated your entire kitchen and your baths and everything might be perfect, but you just never paid attention to the landscaping. So you don't need to set that, you don't need to plant that negative.
So absolutely, exterior staging is very important. And we have another question coming in, Marlene.
Okay.
Sorry it's a little warm in here. Am I the only one a little warm? Let's see. This question says, what role does color play in staging? Huge. From our dear friend Erin.
Huge.
Thank you, Erin, for that question.
Staging doesn't need to be white walls. That's very boring. But you do need to have a neutral color palette. Grays are still popular, but warmer grays are a little bit more in vogue than the cooler shades that have been popular for the last 10 years. You don't really want to go to color specific or style specific because you might love a rich yellow, or you might love
a drop dead red dining room, which I mentioned
blue,
before.
But somebody else may not. So
you want to be neutral. You want to appeal really to the broadest
and you
audience.
Want the flow to go.
Well, I am looking over here to Elizabeth and Margaret Ann to see if we've answered all the questions. But this is so much fun.
I could speak for hours.
I know. I started to say, Margaret Ann and Elizabeth, like, are you guys ready to talk? And I'm like, Marlene and I talk about staging all the time. We could probably just go on and talk all afternoon about staging. But what we would like to do is invite you, and we still are taking appointments for December. All of our appointments in December are not full. So we are still taking appointments in December to help you start getting your house ready for when you're ready to list your house. It may be in 2018, it may be not until 2019, but we are happy to come in and do a complimentary consultation, talk to you about listing your house, and then also, you know, give you a printout. I mean, when Marlene does a consultation, she actually sends you a written list of things to do, recommendations.
It's a script, it's a written recap of everything that we discuss during that walkthrough. And the sooner that you can get started on the process, the better, because sometimes it might take you a while to think about what you're willing to do, what you need to do, and it is a process.
Or to get the work, or to get the people in to actually get the work done, right? So,
and if you start the process and you don't decide to do everything as the process unfolds, you may decide to take more on. But at the end of the day, it's really
getting started early, I think, is important, and then you're ready when the time is right for you. So again, we are seeing people for the month of December. We've already actually been seeing people for 2018 listings where we've already done some photography, like definitely the exterior photography getting ready, but that's not to say it's not too late yet to get your home ready for the spring market 2018. And Marlene and I would love to help you. And Marlene, I laugh about this. Sometimes people, they stage their house and they love it so much and they say, well, we may decide to stay now. We love it so much, and that's okay too, right?
This is the other half of the gold staging redesign.
Yes.
Almost inevitably, people will say, why didn't we have you come in before? We would have loved to live this way.
Yes.
Will you help us with our next house?
Yes.
Life gets in the way, and
well, I've had clients do that before. You actually helped them stage their home. They sold their home because they were buying a new home in the area. And then Marlene, they hired her to come in and help her they hired Marlene to come in and help them set up their new home. So absolutely, people definitely do that.
And here's a tip for anybody that, or some advice for anybody that's considering staging their home, and if you've lived in the house for a very long time, the packing up process is tedious. It is, it's overwhelming.
Yes.
But you're moving anyway. So the more effort that you're putting into the beginning of the process, the easier it's going to be for you to leave when your house is sold. You just have to take your clothes and the few things that have been left out.
Absolutely. So it's like
And-
start packing now because you know
Correct.
you're going to move, and also start purging because we always say to people, don't pack and take anything to your new house that you're not going to keep.
It will
right?
stay in those boxes or in the storage units
Absolutely.
forever until you move again.
Absolutely. Well,
Thank you
girls,
for having me.
yes, behind the camera
fun.
here, do we have anything else we need to share? Any other questions? Have we answered all the questions?
Jane Heyman says she would hire Gold Staging in a heartbeat.
Well, there you go. Do you
So
know?
there we
Yeah,
go.
thank you.
There we go.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us for our 8th episode of What's Up Westchester. Again, this is a show for our viewers, and people ask about staging, so we tried to answer your staging questions. And we'd love to have Marlene back maybe in 2018 for updates on the stage.
We have a second and we're not busy staging.
Well, Marlene's,
Billion
we're very
houses.
fortunate to get Marlene because she is so busy. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.